Ash, how we doing? Another episode of Haunted Pub Crawl.
Yeah, I'm loving this series because some of the more popular some pubs we look at and I don't talk about because there's not that much information, but even
Mm,
just reading about all these random pubs that have got crazy stories and
yeah,
hearing about them and thinking there's a lot there's a lot of pubs in the country
a
and
lot.
there's a lot of haunted pubs in particular.
Yeah, there are. There are. Even just a quick Google search just brings up like stacks and stacks and stacks of pubs. And I know when we done the American, um, the tour of the Paranormal United States, we there was a lot there of stuff in each state, but even in the UK, it's
Mm.
an insane amount, and the age of the pubs.
You think how much of a country of drinkers we
Yeah.
are? This is a lot, a lot of pubs.
What do you think back in the day? So I'm talking 30 years ago, for example, there was tons of pubs. There was no Sky TV, no internet, nothing like that. And me and my mates used to be down to pubs every night, and there used to be a lot
Mm,
more pubs.
mm.
And where I lived in Abingdon at that time, that was a had a Moorlands brewery. So there was 32 pubs in Abingdon when I was growing up.
Right.
It's a small town. Yeah, it's fucking loads of them.
Yeah,
So yeah, I know the demise of the pub, but in recent years. But yeah, it's I think we are a nation of drinkers.
definitely. So,
Mm.
where are we this week? Are you still in New York?
I am still in York. I am
Awesome.
still in York. So I am actually at the Lendal Cellars, which is in the heart of the historic city of York. So let me call up the picture of the public house. And why is it called a public house? I know it's obviously because people were on public are allowed in and whatnot, but I don't know if there's a reason why they're called public houses.
Um, I don't know. Isn't
Your
like
kind
the
of
it should be my sort of information. I mean, isn't like the owner or the landlord also called a publican?
yeah, yeah,
Do you think that maybe it's something to do with the license?
yeah. It probably
Like
is like open to the
license to
public,
serve the
or
public. Yeah.
yeah, that's probably what it is. Probably as simple as that.
I think maybe it comes to because you get a lot of private or used to have more sort of private clubs. Maybe it's like this is a public club. This is a public house rather than a private sort of members only house. This is a public, open to anyone type place. Maybe
Okay, yeah, maybe,
just
maybe.
guessing.
And I
Just
think you got like a public right to be there type thing. You sort of
mm.
yeah, maybe, maybe. Anyway, we digress. We digress. So mine's a fairly shortish one tonight. Um, but the Lendal Cellars is situated in what used to be the Lord Mayor's wine cellars, and it stands on the monastic land with a fascinating past. So from 1272,
Wow.
so what's that? That's 800, just under 800 years. This site was home to the Austin Friars, a monastic order consisting of around 35 members. And the
Okay.
friary boasted a renowned library with over 2,000 volumes covering topics like theology, philosophy,
I think you've
and
had too many
so,
Lendal sellers.
oh Christ, I can't even say what I'm reading. Philosophy and science. So that in itself, 800 years is insane. The only place where I've been similar sort of age is Oxford Prison, which
Mm.
was part of Oxford University, was started there like 1,000 years ago and was a library. So that's similar kind of
Yeah,
level
yeah.
of age, which is insane to think about it really. But
Imagine what's like written in them books like
Christ,
that long
imagine what it
ago.
was like back then. 800 years in the same place. That's weird.
Mm.
So, however, in 1538, the dissolution of monastic institutions by King Henry VIII led to the destruction of the friary. It is said that some of the hooded figures who resided there never left and continued to haunt the vaulted cellars of Lendal Cellars. Visitors to the
Cool.
pub have reported spine-chilling encounters with the paranormal. Glimpses of robed spirits and dark shadows have been witnessed by those in the lower seating area. However, when they turn their heads to take a closer look, the figures vanish into thin air, leaving behind a sense of mystery and intrigue. So yeah, it's got to be a bit weird that you see this hooded figure out the corner of your eye, turn around, nobody there.
Right.
That's weird.
What's the word? Like, I don't know what the word is. Like, quite. I don't know. Like the evil side to it. Like, think like a robed
Yeah,
figure.
it's
Kind
almost
of
like a
daunting, a bit like
yeah.
more evilly than a normal spirit.
I think like a hooded, a robed figure is got to be. It's never. I've seen horror films and they're never good.
No.
So I can't imagine in real life that they're very good to see either.
Mhm.
Um, and if you can't quite see them as well, I think that adds to a bit of scariness. But
Therefore.
the haunting phenomena at Lendal Cellars doesn't even end there. Staff members have experienced unexplainable incidents with cutlery and glasses flying off shelves right before their eyes. I mean, seeing that sort of stuff, I don't know quite what you would be going through your mind if you knew you worked there and you were doing like a late shift or whatever. That's got to be pretty horrific.
Especially
Uh,
seeing it, because there's one thing where you sort of hear glass smash and you go over and it's fell off the side,
mm,
but you're seeing something like fly across the room or knives and forks just
that's
flying
awful.
across. Yeah, I'd love it, but I wouldn't stay there very long.
I know somebody who was at Oxford Prison and a glass lifted off and flew at the door and smashed. So I can only imagine how scary all of this must be. It's horrific. So as technology advanced, ghost hunters have been in there, obviously, capturing
Mhm.
eerie happenings on camera. And I know this is something that we've spoken about before, that all these places usually have CCTV. Why haven't they captured stuff?
Yeah.
Ghostly orbs, believed to be manifestations of spiritual energy. Again, who knows what
Orbs.
they are. And that's a whole nother episode we could do on orbs. Have frequently been documented within the pub, and these mysterious orbs further fuel the belief that Lendal Cellars is a hotbed of paranormal activity. But what makes the Cellars even more intriguing is the connection between its haunting and the history of the friars. The lingering spirits of the friary are thought to be restless and still attached, like I mentioned. While some may dismiss these accounts as mere folklore, the stories and experiences shared by guests and staff cannot be easily ignored. The pub's haunted reputation and ongoing reports of ghostly encounters only add to its allure and sense of the supernatural that permeates its atmosphere. So it's something that is happening not just back in the day, but it's happening now. But
Yeah.
again, there's nothing concrete, as with a lot of stuff. And to be fair, a lot of these pub ones are anecdotal, but there has to be something happening for people to sort of generate these stories. There's a lot of similar stories in pubs, like glasses flying and whatnot, and doors closing. And last week we were talking about haunted toilets in pubs,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Maybe it
yeah,
is because like just a lot of people would go there and you'd get your regulars who'd be there night after night for years
mm,
and years and years, and then when they die, the body or the spirit's probably just used to being there. So
mm,
that's where it goes back to rather than like if
yeah,
they spend a lot of time at home or somewhere else, maybe they'd go there because they're always in the pub.
yep,
Maybe that's where he decides to stay in the afterlife as well.
yeah, yeah. Why not? Why wouldn't you? If it's still there, why wouldn't you? And I suppose if they knock the pub down and it goes up as housing, there's some kind of disturbed spirit who's thinking, "Where's my pub?"
Yeah.
It starts creating Mary Hell. So that is Lendal Cellars in York.
Awesome.
Um, just a brief overview there. It's but the hooded monks and the attachment to the friary, yeah, is
Mm,
quite an intriguing thing.
definitely. Cool. So next up, I'm outside of York again. I'm still kind of skirting around the edges of York, but staying in Yorkshire, and I'm going to Halifax,
Cool.
the West Yorkshire town of
The
Halifax.
bank. Oh,
Oh, don't get used to bank with them, never again. Anyway, so I'm going to visit a very common name for a pub, the Ringer Bells in Halifax.
oh, nice, nice, nice. Yeah.
And talk about the name Ringer Bells basically comes from like you used to have some that used to ring the bell, basically.
Okay. Yeah.
And you tend to find them near churches more often than not. And they're obviously ringing the bell. So in the picture here, just behind me, that is the church with the clock on.
Yeah.
So near to Halifax train station, the Ring of Bells is tucked next to the 12th century Halifax Minster church. It may look like your usual boozer, but it's got an interesting history. It is the oldest licensed pub in Halifax.
Cool.
And
Gone.
been back one of these for a couple of weeks. It's the most haunted pub in Halifax.
No way.
But to be fair, I think it's got good enough reason to claim that, which I'll go into.
There's a high
So
bar for this, you know. There's a high bar
there's
to be.
there the pub was originally built in either the 13th or 15th century. Records are a bit hazy, but the current building was restored in the 1700s, so still pretty old.
Yeah.
Because of its age and location next to the church and its graves, the pub has seen its fair share of Halifax's history, including the plague outbreaks in the Middle Ages, which killed over 500 people. Licensee Angie Hopkins, who's been at the pub for around 20 years, has got used to all manner of strange and spooky occurrences. Sometimes there's a strong smell of burning, and oftentimes the air is heavy with the scent of lavender, that old-fashioned smell, old lady smell. And interestingly, there's a very spooky discovery in the pub's cellar.
Go on.
So, cemented into a deep hollow in a hidden corner of the cellar, on the side of the pub closest to the church, is the gravestone of 3-year-old Hannah Priestley.
Why do you get all the ones where kids have been killed?
I don't know. I don't know if she was killed, but
Okay.
her gravestone is there.
Oh, wow.
The name Priestley was very visible on the gravestone and the date July 1667. So a nice 400-year-old
Yeah.
gravestone.
Wow.
The grave was found by Angie Hopkins when they were sorting out old paint pots and jugs, and they just saw it kind of hidden away, kind of cemented into the side of the building. And they figured out it was Hannah because they had the name Priestley. A local historian, David Glover, helped track down the family records
Wow.
and the Priestley family. And they had a daughter who was born in 1664 and died in 1667 in July.
Wow.
So obviously they can say that gravestone was her gravestone. The cellar itself is pretty unusual. It, sort of near to where the gravestone was, it's kind of like a raised arched roof that had been filled in. It's likely to have been a tunnel at one point in the history of the pub running to the church. People could either hide if they're up to no good and get to the church for safety, or whatever could be happening down there. Or the vicar needs a pint or something, maybe.
Yeah.
The staff have come to accept their unusual customers, one of whom they believe is called Walter, who's been spotted on numerous occasions by regulars, seeming to just stand near to the fire that's been roaring away rather great. And some have also reported smelling his pipe when nearby that he always used to have. Angie, the landlady, also reports, had one customer who came to me just as he was leaving. He said, I've been watching this old chap all night. It was Walter. It'd be lovely to know if he's no customer or perhaps even a former landlord.
Oh, wow.
But like we say, he doesn't seem to have left once he
Yeah.
once he died. There's also the spirit of a lady in old-fashioned clothing who's been seen by former staff. And Angie also says often we get the taps turned on in the night, You wake to find water gushing away in upstairs basins, and we get one of the beer gas taps being turned off. And like
We
that
had
sort
that.
of last week.
Hmm.
I think they are quite big. Look at like the sort of the pumps that
Okay.
vehicles
Yeah.
kind of really pull it down to like it's like a lever, isn't it? When you fill up a
Yeah.
pint, like see in the pub. So them just turn themselves on. It's supposed to be annoying because like beer's not cheap.
No, it's not.
Imagine like your keg being emptied overnight would be pretty annoying.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, quite a few tales there. I
Yeah.
thought this was interesting with the gravestone. No sort of reports of a lot girl or anything like that, but finding this gravestone like kind of built into the wall of the pub,
Yeah.
pretty creepy.
I was waiting for you to go down the whole child spirits and stuff like that, but
Yeah, sadly Hannah must be somewhere else.
no, that's cool. I like that.
So yeah, that was Bringer Bells in Halifax.
Cool. Join us again in our next episode where we're probably still in the north of England
Maybe in
because
Yorkshire
it's
somewhere still, probably.
yeah. And if anybody's got any pubs that they want us to visit on the way round, let us know. And let us know what the hauntings are because that'll be interesting. So
Definitely.